As we all know that Canada is coming up with so many policies that are not favorable to immigrants. The year began with Canada coming up with policy to cut down the number of immigrants coming into Canada via the study route by increasing the cost of this and study in Canada. So that route was automatically short, or maybe the number of people coming into the Canada via that route had to reduce because not so many can afford spending such ridiculous amount in studying in Canada because they have the higher level of proof of funds and some other condition. Okay, that said, last month saw another dimension in cutting down of immigrants in Canada. So as of last month, the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had to make an announcement on a new policy that those coming into the country with visiting visa or tourist visa are no longer allowed to convert that visiting visa or tourist visa to a work permit, that is a temporary work permit. And that policy or law of converting your visiting visa or this thing now tourist visa was this enacted. That was during the COVID-19 when they really needed, when there was shortage of labor. But presently now, if you are planning coming into Canada via this thing visiting visa or tourist visa with the hope that you convert it to a work permit, I'm sorry to tell you that it is no longer allowed. The governments have cancelled that. So welcome to my channel. This is your girl Annabelle. Trend with me in this channel as we examine some important issues centering on immigration and life in Canada. Okay, so last month being August, Canada took a new turn by coming up with so many policies just to reduce the number of immigrants dropping into the country. Okay, so the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau have announced it that they've abolished the law of visitors or people coming into the country with visiting visa or tourist visa and converting it to a temporary work permit. You know, earlier or during the COVID-19, this law was enacted whereby visitors in the country can convert their visiting visa to a work permit because of labor shortage and those that were trapped in the country because of the COVID-19. But at the moment now, the country is experiencing high level of unemployment. So with that, they are cutting down, in fact, immigrants coming into the country, people coming having access to LMIA job, that is labor impact assessment job. So in this new policy, emphasis was basically made on temporary work permits. You know, in the past it was proud to this policy. Anybody can come into Canada via visiting visa and later convert it, get an LMIA job, convert the visa to a temporary work permit. Now, this temporary work permit is classified into two: the low income earners and the high income earners. Now, the low income earner are having the majority of this population, the low income earners. So it is now experienced or said that Canada or the average Canadian youths are out of job because most low income jobs are being occupied by immigrants. Now, this is constituting a lot of unemployment in the country, making it difficult for an average young Canadian to get a menial or a casual job or a summer job. Now, according to the reports, that this is posing a threat to the cost of living and unemployment rate. So the policy is having it that any area of the country with a level of unemployment over 6% should not employ any or should not give LMIA job to anybody or employ anybody under the low wage temporary income stream. Okay, so any sector, any aspect of the country having more than 6% of unemployment should not employ anybody under the low wage temporary income scheme. Apart from that, in fact, they are totally cutting off temporary workers for now, apart from three sectors, and these three sectors have to do with health, construction, and food. Okay, so that is where, according to the Prime Minister, that is where they need people. Those are the areas where they need people. Health, maybe a caregiver, or what do you call it now, a nurse or doctor, or someone in the agricultural sector, that is food, agriculture, maybe restaurants, okay, and also construction aspect. Those are construction, plumbing work, building, engineering. Those are the aspects that need people. So people in currently in Canada now with the temporary work permit visa, whose visa has expired, are now facing challenge of not knowing what their fate is, because for some of them their visa are at the verge of expiration, or for some their visa as a temporary worker has expired, and some are at the verge of converting this temporary visa to a permanent resident. That is the PM people, while some are yet to be approved, and some also are in Canada as visitors, and maybe they're in process of converting this visiting visa to a temporary work permit. So these people now are facing challenges of not knowing what their fate will be. Okay, let's look at this news to hear what the Prime Minister said and people's reaction about this current policy.
CBC News. Can I ask you about the immigrant unemployment rate? We're looking at about 11.6% right now, which is substantially higher than the overall unemployment rate. You mentioned some changes to the TFW program, but are you considering broader changes, maybe limiting immigration, permanent residents, other streams to kind of restore some balance to the labor market? Because as it stands right now, a lot of newcomers are out of a job.
These are ongoing conversations that we're having that we're taking extremely seriously. Obviously, over the past number of years, from the pandemic to the massive labor shortages immediately following the pandemic to the situation we're in now, we need to keep making sure we're responding to the needs both of Canadians, of businesses, and of the economy in general. And that's why we're constantly adjusting and making sure we're meeting the moment every step of the way. This fall, we'll be presenting for the first time an immigration's levels plan that doesn't just talk about permanent residents, but also talks about temporary residents, whether it's foreign workers or others. And we're making sure that the entire package makes as much sense as possible for the needs of Canadians and for the needs of our economy. That's why the first steps we're taking today of reducing the number of low-paid temporary foreign workers that can come work in this country is part of the response. Over the next 90 days, we'll be looking at the higher wage streams of temporary workers, and we'll be looking at unemployment rates and opportunities to make further adjustments over the course of this fall as we come forward with comprehensive level plans that'll respond to the reality that Canada's facing now and in years and decades to come.
Global News. I just want to follow up on the answer that you gave to JP. You're saying you're taking a holistic approach when it comes to immigration, considering the number of temporary workers when you're looking at permanent residency. But just on PR, is your government considering reducing the number on an annual basis of people who can get PR in Canada?
Those are the discussions that we're having as a cabinet here and over the coming months, making sure that our immigration, which continues to be an extraordinary, important advantage that Canada has in the world, that contributes to growth, contributes to well-being of so many Canadians, continues to be the way we operate, but it has to be done right. So we're looking at the various streams to make sure that as we move forward, Canada remains a place that is positive in its support for immigration, but also responsible in the way we integrate and make sure there's pathways to success for.
Okay, so as you can see from this video, the Prime Minister is saying that they will only allow 10% of immigrants who will come into the country via this route of temporary work permits, and it's only restricted to just three sectors: the health sector, the construction sector, and the food sector. So just 10% of immigrants via that route. You know, election is coming up, so many policies. Apart from that, the unemployment rates affecting the economy and the high cost of living. Although the Prime Minister still acknowledges that immigrants have been of great help to the country by boosting by the country's economy, from the report from Bank of Canada, that immigrants have greatly contributed to boost the economy. But at this juncture, according to them, immigrants are posing a threat because of high level of unemployment in all all areas of the country. In fact, in Alberta, is almost 13% level of unemployment, and some other places like Ontario, where there is high cost of living, highly populated with immigrants, and other places, Toronto likewise. So with this now, there are going to be strict measures, and apart from that, they are also going to limit the number of permanent residents they will be issuing. So all this boils down to, if you are trying to come to Canada via any of those routes, that's in as a temporary foreign worker, just examine other routes. There are other routes that can also help, like to come in, writing of your IELTS. So in as much as they are working out strategies to make sure that maybe most immigrants that are already here, whose visa at the verge of expiration, temporary foreign workers whose visa at the verge of expiration, who has applied for let's say PMP, they are looking out for measures just to make sure that people in that category are affected from the policy. Those who have submitted an application for PMP as of May, they are exempted. As of May, yes, May 24th of this year, they are exempted from this policy. Or anybody who has, maybe any visitor who has submitted application for temporary foreign work is also as of May this year, there's an exemption. So but people in that category, maybe there's a policy of grace, giving them grace of to some certain time to review their paper, or to make sure that those who are already in the pool, that they are destined and they've received an ITA letter that is for permanent residence, how they will be able to sustain them for this period of time before the issuance of their permanent residence. Okay, also for students, those with students visa, maybe who has a PGW, that is postgraduate this work permit. They are also looking for modalities just to work out that these people are not also affected, but a high level of people are greatly affected by this policy. And at the same time, the country cannot displease themselves to please immigrants, because also the economy of the country is at stake if these measures are not taken. So everybody, or most immigrants, are looking forward, or most people who are affected by by this policy are looking forward to 26th of September, because according to the Prime Minister, this policy will be fully reviewed by 26th of September, and they will fully implement whatever decision they've taken, because they are deliberating on how to work out modalities just to make sure that those who are affected by this policy, looking for a way to suit them. So by 26th of September, according to their news, that they would give a proper review on this matter just to balance the equation. So as we cross our finger waiting for 26th of September, the federal government has also issued other ways or methods where people can establish their stay. So in my next video, I'll be looking, or with taking topics or modalities by the federal government on how to maneuver this policy just to suit those in the country that are affected by the policies, not those coming into the country, but those already in the country. Okay, so that said, we've come to the end of this. Look forward to my next video, where we'll discuss on the modalities by the government to handle this policy, just to make sure that everybody is carried along. Okay, so please, if this video has added any value, please do well to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching.